Hello boys and girls, it's Mr. Bedley again with 4th grade Excel lesson number 83. We're continuing to learn about doing some long division problems with a one-digit divisor. So let's take a look at the first problem here, problem number 1. We're going to go over that together and then we'll try some other ones. So here we go with number 1. Check it out here. This is 1,523 divided by 3. So the first thing we do is we are asking, can 1 be divided by 3? Can you take the number 1 and split it into 3 equal groups? Well, you can, but not unless we're making parts of numbers, so that doesn't quite work yet. So then we join the 1 with the 5 that's next to it, and we think of that as being like the number 15. And we say, how many 3's over here go into 15? And the answer to that is 5. So the first step that I did here is I divided. Alright, so then the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply. Multiply the 5 times 3, and I get 15 right here. 5 times 3 is 15, so I multiplied. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract. 15 minus 15 is 0 right there. Then I'm going to bring down, and that's what the arrow shows here. I'm going to bring the 2 down. And I say, how many times does 3 go into 2? How many 3's are there in 2? There's no 3's in 2. That's why we put a 0 there. So since we brought down the 2 and it went in 0 times, we're going to go ahead and bring the next number down, the 3 down, and join that with the 2 to make 23. How many 3's are there in 23? So we're going to go 3, 6, I'm counting on my fingers here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and then if I do another one, it's 24, which is too big. So you can see that I drew 7 little lines right here, because 3 times 7 is 21. So I divided 23 divided by 3 is 7. Then I multiplied the 7 times the 3 and got 21. And then the next step is to subtract. 23 minus 21 is 2. And that is my leftover, or my remainder. So the answer is 507, remainder 2. Now to check it, I'm going to multiply 507 times 3. And when I do that, I get 1,521. And then I add the remainder on right here and get 1,523. The whole idea here is that when I do all this, it should match up with the original number that I started with, 1,523, and it does. So I can feel pretty good about my answer of 507, remainder 2. All right, I would like you to try number 2 with me. Have your pencil ready. See if you can kind of stay a little bit ahead of me. If not, then just do it right along with me, okay? So we're going to see how many times 7 goes into 2. That's the first step of D, divide. Put that right here, okay? So I'm going to divide first. 7 does not go into 2 because 7 times 1 is 7. So I'm going to go ahead and join the 2 with the 8 and look at this as being 7 into 28. Just cover up that 70 cents and think of it like 28 divided by 7. And the answer is 4, of course, because 7 times 4 is 28. Notice where I wrote the 4, right above the 8 there. I did not put it over here. Don't put it right there in that spot. Put the 4 in the proper place, which is in the dollar place in this example, because it's $28.70. So it goes above the 8 because we're putting 7 into 28. Now I multiply. 4 times 7 is 28. Then I subtract. 28 minus 28 is 0. And then I'm going to bring down the 7 right there. And I say, how many 7's are there in 7? The answer is 1. Now don't forget to put the decimal point right there. My decimal point's kind of ugly. You should have a nicer looking one. And then we're going to multiply next, because we just divided. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Now we're going to multiply. 1 times 7 is 7. Then we're going to subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. Then we're going to bring down. We're bringing the 0 down. And then we're doing 0 divided by 7, which of course is 0. 0 times 7 is 0. Subtract and still get 0. You don't really have to do that part. Okay, and then let's put a dollar sign on here to go with the $4, make it $4.10. Now we're going to do $4.10 right here. Go ahead and put that on your paper. And we're going to multiply that times the 7 right there. 0 times 7 is 0. 1 times 7 is 7. And 4 times 7 is 28. And then we fill in the decimal point and the dollar sign. And you can see that matches with that right there. All right, I want you to pause the video and do number 3 the best you can. And then turn it back on to see the solution. So here we go. 5 into, you should have already done this one. 5 does not go into 4, but it does go into 45. So I'm dividing 45 divided by 5, which is 9. And now I multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. Then I subtract and get 0. And then I bring down, it's the next step, I bring that 0 down. How many times does 5 go into 0? Well, no times. So since I brought that down, it doesn't even work to go into it. It goes in 0 times. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 6. How many times does 5 go into 6? I'm doing division right now. 5 goes into 6 one time. Now I multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. Then I subtract and get 1. And there's no more numbers to bring down. So that's a remainder. You have to write that over there. You can't just leave it down at the bottom. Now I'm going to check this. Hopefully you checked it already by doing 901 times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 0 times 5 is 0. And 9 times 5 is 45. Now wait a minute. That says 4,405, but it says 4,506 up here. That's because I have to add the remainder and get 4,506. And that does now match up with that. All right, here we go with the next problems. Go ahead and do number 4 on your own and then turn the video back on to see the solution. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put the dollar sign up here first. Did you remember to put a dollar sign? And then I'm going to put 6 into 18. That goes 3 times. 3 times 6, I multiply now is 18. Subtract and get 0. Bring down the 3. And how many times does 6 go into 3? Oh, don't forget your decimal point right there. It goes in 0 times because 1 times 6 is 6. Then I'm going to bring down the 0. How many times does 6 go into 30? 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. Subtract and get nothing there. And then we check it down here by doing $3.05 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Bring the 3 up there. 0 times 6 is 0 plus 3 is 3. And 3 times 6 is 18. And it matches up. There's the correct answer. Okay, now go ahead and pause the video. I want you to do 5 and 6. Turn it back on when you're ready for the solutions to both of those. All right, so you should have done 5 and 6. 4 goes into 24 6 times. Don't forget your dollar sign. Don't forget the decimal point right there. 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract and get 0. Bring the 1 down right here. 4 goes into 1 0 times. So I got to bring the 2 down. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract and get 0. Check your answer by doing $6.03 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Bring that 1 up there. 0 times 4 is 0 plus 1 is 1. 6 times 4 is 24. Fill in the decimal point and the dollar sign. All right, number 6. 8 goes into 24. It does not go into 2. It goes into 24 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract and get 0. Bring the 0 down there. 8 goes into 0 0 times. This is a little tricky now. I'm going to bring the 5 down. How many times does 8 go into 5? It goes in 0 times. And 0 times 8 is 0. So that's actually a remainder. Remainder 5. So you should do 300 times 8, that's 0024, add the 5, and you get 2,405. Hopefully your writing is neater than mine because I'm trying to do this with my finger on an iPad. All right, have a good day everybody, thanks for watching.